Pope Francis appointed Manila Archbishop Cardinal Luis Tagle as the new prefect of the congregation.
Pope Francis has appointed Cardinal Luis Tagle, the new head of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples.
Pope Francis has long been seen as a transformative leader within the Catholic Church, but his recent revelations about Cardinal Luis Tagle have left the world questioning what lies ahead. Tagle, once a relatively unknown figure, has rapidly gained prominence, and now the Pope has chosen to reveal his true role. Why has Pope Francis made this revelation now? How will it impact the Church's influence on the global stage? Join us as we explore the shocking truth behind Pope Francis's disclosure of Cardinal Luis Tagle, the journey to electing the next Pope. The Catholic Church, known for its deep history and worldwide influence, is at a turning point where its long-standing traditions meet the growing need for change. At the center of this shift is Cardinal Luis Tagle, a leader whose growing influence is rooted in his dedication to compassion, humility, and inclusiveness. Pope Francis, recognized for his focus on helping the poor and marginalized, has brought attention to Cardinal Luis Tagle, a figure who could shape the Church's future. Their relationship, often admired and occasionally debated, has become a key focus for Catholics around the world. Recently, Pope Francis made a notable decision to publicly highlight his strong bond with Cardinal Tagle. Why now? What does this mean for the Church's global influence? These questions have sparked discussions as the Church navigates both opportunities and challenges in the modern world. This story delves into the unique connection between Pope Francis and Cardinal Tagle, their shared dream of a church that is more open and compassionate, and how their partnership could transform Catholicism. The bond between Pope Francis and Cardinal Tagle is extraordinary, built on a shared purpose and a unified vision for the church that breaks away from traditional boundaries. Since Tagle's time as Archbishop of Manila, he has embodied values such as simplicity, kindness, and a strong commitment to helping the less fortunate, principles Pope Francis champions. Together, their work reflects mutual respect and a common goal, creating a church that mirrors Christ's love and mercy. In 2019, Cardinal Tagle became the prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, a role often called the Red Pope due to its significant influence. This position involves overseeing missionary efforts across continents, particularly in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, regions critical to the Church's future. By choosing Tagle for this role, Pope Francis showed his confidence in Tagle's ability to lead these efforts. Their collaboration, however, goes beyond church administration. Both leaders are deeply committed to building a church that values inclusion and compassion over rigid rules. They have faced resistance from traditionalist groups, but this opposition has only strengthened their determination. Their goal is a church focused on dialogue, understanding, and unity, where actions speak louder than words. Cardinal Tagle's leadership has shown in challenging times. His heartfelt response to Typhoon Haiyan in 2013 earned global admiration, showing his deep compassion. Pope Francis has often compared Tagle's actions to his vision of a church that serves the poor, stressing that true leadership is rooted in service, not authority. Tagle's theology, particularly his inclusive approach to evangelization, has resonated with progressive Catholic communities worldwide. Pope Francis has emphasized that church leaders should embody mercy and kindness, not dominance. Tagle's ability to connect with the forgotten and overlooked highlights the values that are central to Pope Francis's mission. As the next conclave approaches, Cardinal Tagle's involvement signals a potential shift toward a church that is more caring and inclusive. His journey from Manila's streets to a key role in the Vatican reflects his steadfast dedication to faith, service, and transformation. With Pope Francis as an ally, their shared vision of a church built on humility, kindness, and human connection is poised to leave a lasting mark on Catholicism. This shared vision, however, faces challenges and divisions within the Church, where differing perspectives compete over the future direction of Catholicism. Cardinal Luis Tagle's leadership reflects these values through both his actions and aspirations, bringing them to life. Cardinal Luis Tagle's role. Cardinal Luis Tagle stands at the heart of the Catholic Church's most compelling crossroads, seen as both a source of hope and a focal point for controversy. Known as the Asian Francis, Tagle mirrors Pope Francis in many ways, embodying humility, compassion, and an unwavering connection to the marginalized. Yet beneath his warm smile and gentle demeanor lies a formidable leader whose vision for the church could alter its course on a global scale. Tagle's rise to prominence has been deliberate, closely aligned with Pope Francis's ideology. Their shared values form the foundation of a mission to transform the church's role in a rapidly changing world. Together, they advocate for a church centered on mercy, inclusivity, and justice, challenging long-held traditions and norms. As Archbishop of Manila, Tagle championed a vision of the church deeply rooted in the values of compassion and service. His sermons were heartfelt and personal, touching the lives of countless Filipinos who saw in him a leader who truly cared for the marginalized and vulnerable. Tagle's approach to leadership was deeply pastoral, focusing on the human side of faith. This authenticity allowed him to connect with people on a profound level, gaining a reputation as a modern leader with a deep sense of humility and care. However, this alignment hasn't come without opposition. Traditionalists within the Vatican view Tagle's ascent with suspicion, seeing him as a progressive force that could disrupt the Church's established order. His appointments to key roles, such as prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, reflect a shift towards a more outward-looking church deeply engaged with societal challenges. Tagle has faced criticism for his reformist stance, with some viewing his willingness to engage in interfaith dialogue and outspoken support for social justice as overly modernist. Conservative factions argue that his approach risks watering down the Church's sacred traditions. Despite the criticism, Tagle's influence is undeniable. He serves as a bridge between Catholicism's rich history and the need for change to remain relevant. As the Church faces declining membership scandals and the challenges of a rapidly changing world, Tagle presents a vision that appeals to younger and more progressive Catholics. One of Tagle's most remarkable qualities is his ability to connect with people on a deeply personal level. His charisma and humility have made him beloved not only in the Philippines, but across the globe. His speeches blend theological insight with a heartfelt understanding of human struggles, creating a bridge between the sacred and the everyday. Another notable challenge for Tagle has been his involvement in the Church's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. His leadership during this time demonstrated his ability to balance the spiritual needs of the faithful with public health concerns. By advocating for the rights of marginalized communities and promoting solidarity, Tagle showcased his commitment to serving the global church in times of crisis. His outreach during the pandemic earned him even greater admiration and solidified his reputation as a compassionate and innovative leader. A defining moment in Tagle's career was his involvement in the 2019 Amazon Synod, a groundbreaking event addressing the challenges faced by the Church in the Amazon region. This synod emphasized the need for greater inclusion of indigenous voices within church leadership and the promotion of sustainable development. Tagle's participation showcased his dedication to addressing global issues, particularly those affecting vulnerable communities. His advocacy for environmental stewardship and the rights of indigenous peoples has further established him as a transformative force within the Church. However, these very qualities that make Tagle so appealing also contribute to the controversy surrounding him. His openness on issues such as LGBTQ+ rights, economic inequality, and environmental concerns has polarized opinions. Supporters see these stances as evidence of a church responsive to modern challenges, while detractors view them as a dangerous shift away from tradition. Cardinal Tagle's journey, though still unfolding, represents a significant contribution to the evolution of Catholic leadership. His vision of a church that serves the marginalized and promotes human rights has positioned him as a defender of the oppressed and a champion for social change. In the face of adversity and resistance from conservative forces, Tagle remains a symbol of hope and transformation. A leader who seeks to guide the Church through these turbulent times with compassion, understanding, and a steadfast commitment to the gospel. What will the future hold for the Catholic Church as it continues to navigate these complexities? As the conclave approaches, speculation about Tagle's future has intensified. Some believe he could be a strong contender for the papacy, potentially making history as the first Asian pope. Such a move would symbolize a more globally representative church leadership. Others view him as a kingmaker, influencing the direction of the election significantly. The question remains, will the church embrace the transformative vision Tagle represents, or will it retreat into traditionalism, resisting change? As the world watches, the outcome could redefine not only the Catholic Church, but its role in addressing contemporary moral and ethical issues. Cardinal Luis Tagle's involvement in this election transcends a simple role as a participant. He embodies the Church's ongoing struggle between its past and future. Whether as a candidate or a champion for reform, Tagle will play a pivotal role in shaping this historic moment. The stakes are high, and as the conclave unfolds, the world will be watching closely, eager to see if his vision for a revolutionary church will be realized or left to speculation. This journey is deeply connected to his collaboration with Pope Francis, as they both are steering the church through a time of significant change. Partnership between Pope Francis and Cardinal Tagle. The bond between Pope Francis and Cardinal Luis Tagle is more than a relationship. It's an enigmatic partnership that is quietly reshaping the Catholic Church's role in the modern world. Beneath the surface of their seemingly harmonious collaboration lies a deeper mystery, a transformative force poised to redefine the Church's purpose in an ever-changing, turbulent era. Their shared vision isn't merely about beliefs, it's about a radical shift, an unraveling of tradition, and a reimagining of what it means to be a church in today's complex global landscape. Pope Francis and Cardinal Tagle aren't just leaders, they're architects of a new church, one driven by compassion, inclusivity, and a willingness to confront the harsh realities of the world head-on. Together, they advocate for a faith that seeks justice for the marginalized, a faith that doesn't shy away from uncomfortable truths. Yet this partnership isn't without its controversies. Their progressive approach has stirred deep divisions within the Vatican, where conservative factions view their reformist stance as a dangerous departure from Catholic orthodoxy. One of the most pivotal moments came when Pope Francis elevated Cardinal Tagle to the role of prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples. This isn't just a ceremonial position, it's a powerful platform, placing Tagle at the heart of the Church's mission to engage with the world. From addressing environmental crises to fostering interfaith dialogue, his leadership has been a bold statement of the Church's commitment to societal transformation. Under his guidance, the congregation has evolved from spreading Catholicism to becoming a vehicle for addressing the pressing global challenges of poverty, inequality, and environmental degradation. Their alignment is more than ideological, it's personal. Pope Francis and Tagle share a pastoral approach that emphasizes humility and approachability. Both leaders reject the hierarchical, distant image often associated with the Vatican, opting instead for simplicity and relatability. Francis's choice to reside in the modest Domus Sancti Marthae mirrors Tagle's preference for humility, creating a sense of closeness to the people they serve. Their personal styles, combined with their shared vision, form a compelling, almost mystifying partnership. Yet, this partnership has not been immune to resistance. Traditionalists within the Vatican see their reformist vision as a threat to the very foundations of Catholicism. They argue that the Church's focus on social justice, climate change, and inclusivity risks diluting its spiritual essence. Critics view this partnership as a dangerous shift, a movement away from time-honored traditions toward a more modern, sometimes controversial approach. Despite the opposition, their influence is undeniable. Together, they have energized the Church's presence in the Global South, regions where Catholicism is growing rapidly but also facing its greatest challenges. Their vision of a church deeply engaged with society has struck a chord. Communities dealing with poverty and environmental crises are seeing a church that listens, acts, and seeks change. The mystery of their union deepens with their shared commitment to interfaith dialogue, a vital element of their partnership. Both leaders understand the power of unity in a world fractured by religious and cultural divides. Tagle's efforts to build bridges between faith communities complement Francis's calls for peace and understanding. Together, they have become mediators in a world often polarized by ideology. The The question that looms as the church's future unfolds is whether their vision will ignite a lasting transformation or lead to further divisions. Their partnership is a delicate balance between tradition and progress, and the stakes are immense. Will they succeed in redefining the church's role, or will their efforts be resisted by forces intent on preserving the past? Their bond represents more than a union of minds, it's a mystery, a journey into uncharted territory where the church confronts its destiny. Whether celebrated or vilified, Pope Francis and Cardinal Tagle are at the heart of a pivotal moment in Catholic history, navigating a path that could reshape the Church's future forever. Their collaborative efforts are deeply intertwined with the challenges and criticisms they face, as both are caught in a complex web of opposing forces striving to influence the Church's trajectory. Challenges and criticisms. As the cardinals prepare to gather in the Sistine Chapel, the serene rituals of the papal election mask an undercurrent of tension and division. The gathering is not just about selecting a new pope, it's a battlefield for the future of the Catholic Church. Hidden beneath the prayers and solemn ceremonies is a fierce battle between two factions, one fighting to preserve tradition and the other pushing forward with progressive reforms. The conservative faction, long the powerful backbone of the Vatican, now finds itself under siege. Pope Francis's leadership has introduced a wave of change that challenges their grip on Catholic orthodoxy. For them, the progressive movement led by figures like Cardinal Luis Tagle feels like a threat to the Church's sacred foundations. With the election of a new pope looming, conservatives see this as their last opportunity to reclaim control and stop what they fear is a dangerous shift away from tradition. At the center of this ideological clash is Cardinal Tagle, whose influence has ignited passionate debate. To many, he represents a compassionate, inclusive church, a leader who speaks out on issues like poverty, interfaith dialogue, and LGBTQ+ rights with genuine empathy. However, for traditionalists, his progressive views are seen as a betrayal of Catholic values. They worry that his stance on inclusivity and social justice risks alienating the devout who hold fast to long-standing doctrine. The controversy surrounding Tagle extends beyond his policies to the symbolic weight of his potential election. Were he to become the first Asian pope, it would represent a monumental shift in the Church's center of gravity, signaling a departure from its Eurocentric leadership. While this prospect excites many in the global South, it also stirs unease among those who fear it could dilute the Church's historical and cultural identity. Adding fuel to the fire are the rumors of clandestine meetings and behind-the-scenes maneuvering among the cardinals. Reports of secret alliances, strategic negotiations, and whispered promises have transformed the Vatican into a political chessboard. These covert operations reveal the high stakes of this election, where every vote could tip the balance between progress and tradition. The secrecy of the conclave only intensifies the intrigue, as the cardinals engage in a sanctified yet deeply human contest of power and influence. Adding to the intensity are whispers of secret alliances and covert negotiations among the cardinals. Rumors of behind-the-scenes power plays have turned the Sistine Chapel into a political chessboard. Every move, every vote, and every whispered conversation holds the potential to shift the delicate balance between tradition and reform. The mystery surrounding these clandestine maneuvers only heightens the tension as the cardinals face a crucial decision, one that could alter the course of the Church for generations. On one side, the progressive camp, led by Pope Francis's loyalists, views this election as an opportunity to solidify the reforms that have already begun reshaping the Church. They advocate for a less rigid, more compassionate institution, a field hospital church that prioritizes mercy, inclusivity, and engagement with the modern world. A win for someone like Tagle would be seen as a continuation of this vision, reinforcing the Church's role in addressing contemporary issues like climate change, social inequality, and interfaith harmony. Yet, the conservatives are determined to defend what they see as the true essence of Catholicism. They argue that embracing progressive reforms risks compromising the Church's spiritual mission, favoring social activism over timeless truths. Their vision is one of unwavering tradition, where doctrine remains uncompromised, and the Church stands as a steadfast guardian of its sacred heritage. This divide is more than ideological, it's deeply personal. The fear among some cardinals is that electing a figure as polarizing as Tagle could further deepen the rifts within the Church. With over 1 billion members spanning diverse cultures and beliefs, unity in the Catholic Church is a monumental challenge. The prospect of a divisive papacy raises concerns about schism and discord that could fracture the global institution. Beyond internal divisions, external pressures add another layer of complexity. The Catholic Church faces a world that is increasingly secular and skeptical. Scandals, financial crises, and a decline in traditional Catholic regions have weakened its moral authority. Navigating these challenges requires strong leadership, yet it also amplifies the tensions that threaten to tear the Church apart. Among the potential successors, Cardinal Pietro Parolin emerges as a strong contender against Tagle. As the Vatican Secretary of State, Parolin has built a reputation for his adept diplomacy and ability to steer the Church through complex geopolitical waters. Unlike Tagle's reformist vision and pastoral approach, Parolin represents a more traditional path, deeply rooted in Catholic orthodoxy. His Italian heritage and conservative views have garnered significant support from traditionalist circles within the Church. Through his diplomatic prowess, Parolin has managed to maintain the Church's influence across the globe, ensuring its voice remains heard on the international stage. However, Cardinal Tagle presents a stark contrast. His leadership focuses on the Church's peripheries, reaching out to marginalized communities and championing progressive social advocacy. Tagle's vision is built on compassion, inclusivity, and direct engagement with the Church's global followers. While Parolin maintains the Church's traditional structure, Tagle pushes the boundaries, advocating for change while addressing modern societal issues with hands-on empathy. These differing approaches spark intriguing questions about how such contrasting leadership can coexist. Tagle's path offers a glimpse into a Church that seeks healing, welcome, and revival, one that emphasizes unity and social justice in a rapidly evolving world. Meanwhile, Parolin's influence lies in preserving the institution's historical foundations, navigating modern challenges through diplomacy and a steadfast adherence to tradition. The future of the Catholic Church will hinge on how leaders like Tagle and Parolin reconcile their visions. Will Tagle's progressive legacy guide the Church into a more inclusive and compassionate era? Or will Parolin's traditionalist approach reinforce the Church's long-standing values in the face of an ever-changing world? As these forces compete for influence, the path forward remains a compelling and deeply significant journey for the future of Catholicism. For many cardinals, the question is not just who can lead, but who can heal. The next pope will need to bridge the chasm between progressives and conservatives, addressing the fears and aspirations of both sides. Yet achieving this balance may be the Church's greatest challenge. Can a leader emerge who embodies both the compassion of Francis and the steadfastness of tradition? Or will the conclave deepen the rifts that already threaten the Church's unity? As the conclave begins, the world waits with bated breath. The outcome of this election will ripple far beyond Vatican walls, affecting not just Catholics but the moral and ethical compass of countless societies. Will the next pope uphold the Church's ancient legacy or redefine its role in a rapidly changing world? One thing is clear, this election is about more than faith. It's a fierce battle of power, politics, and the future of one of the world's most influential institutions. And as the cardinals take their seats under Michelangelo's watchful gaze, every decision, every vote, and every whispered word carries the weight of history, a turning point in the evolution of the Catholic Church. As the cardinals cast their votes, a new chapter unfolds in the history of the Church. Whether the chosen leader upholds tradition or ushers in a new era, their influence will shape the Church's future. With this momentous decision looming, the world watches closely. What are your thoughts on this historic event? Share your reflections in the comments below. If you found this discussion insightful, give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe for more updates on the journey ahead.